part 2 of the CDC director's testimony in terms of the politics that were happening during the testimony. The second thing several committee chairs brought up is flags on social media where posts on Twitter and Facebook were censored, where posts were removed on Facebook and Twitter that were against CDC guidance. And this didn't matter if you were a politician or if you were a practicing physician at the time, where you'll recall at the beginning of the pandemic, Trump was pushing hydroxychloroquine and injecting bleach to help treat COVID infection, which is clear misinformation. Physicians, doctors, and researchers were frustrated because they weren't able to share what they were seeing firsthand with the public. And then one committee chair was butthurt because the CDC director called this a pandemic of the unvaccinated. This is where we'll go into my opinion piece on this part. Medical misinformation is the equivalent of yelling fire in a movie theater. It's incredibly dangerous and it can get people hurt. For this reason, I think things like that should be censored. But because the CDC doesn't have a data arm where they're able to collaborate with companies like Meta and Twitter and TikTok, etc., there wasn't a really good way to differentiate between this is good, sound medical fact and opinion versus this is just random Joe Schmo's opinion who knows nothing about science. Going back to the testimony, I felt that the most profound statement was by one of the council members, where she stated that both administrations failed the US public in its response to the pandemic. And another gentleman making a statement that we let this become political as opposed to medical. So instead of letting doctors speak, we had politicians talking off of prompters, where nobody could figure out what the truth was anymore because it was politicized and we couldn't get to the truth. So much so that on the Rachel Maddow show, we had the CDC director say on March 29, 2021, that vaccinated people don't carry the virus and don't get sick. And then in July 21st, 2021, President Biden said, if you are vaccinated, you are not going to be hospitalized, you are not going to be in the ICU, and you are not going to die. Where in medicine, we have the policy of saying never say never, according to the CDC director, because this was blatant misinformation, just like when Trump did it, where he said something definitive, even when in the trials that the CDC was monitoring at the time, there were people that were hospitalized that had received the vaccine, furthering this sense of divisive misinformation. So from what I watched, this is pretty much all the information I would recommend that you would need to know. Obviously, you can go watch the testimony yourself. Check out this video, the one linked to this, and then there's another one.